Hi class, I wanted to give you some video feedback. You're going to take this information, you'll duplicate your site, and you will implement the changes, all right? Make sure you also check your site checklist in case I missed something. But I'm going to go through like a first-time site visitor so that I can check the usability, how everything is laid out and functioning. And so this is your draft. You might make 100 on your draft. That doesn't mean that you won't have changes, because you want to make sure if you do have comments here that you implement them so you get 100 on your final also. Okay, so just because I give you a 100 doesn't, that's because you met the benchmarks for the draft. All right, so I hate when a student gets a 100 on the draft and then doesn't do anything and doesn't get a 100 on their final. All right, so I know that won't happen here. Let's jump in. Really great. Love what I'm seeing so far. Yes, I like. And let's see, you're linked up. Perfect. Clean, nice clean logos, easy to read. You have here what you do, so I know what that is. A little bit of stacking here, and a little tight there. I don't know if we moved that over. I mean, we're getting into details now, but you know, maybe one less line here. Maybe not that one that you need, but maybe just a little more space, and maybe that moves. I'm going to leave that up to you, but it's just a little bit of stacking here going on. Okay, perfect. I didn't know, there is a little bit of graininess here, but it's such a great photo. The quality is really great. Nice spacing here, perfect. All that's great. Okay, nice. You do want to make sure you remove the phone number. That is placeholder, so remove that. And so far, I'm loving it. Let's see. We do need to have descriptions. So you'll want to work on your portfolio page. If we can link this up to a page that has it with a little bit of content that gives us context about this particular work, that would be great. But that's what you want to work on. All right, great. Let's check the mobile. Okay, so yeah, same thing. Yeah, a little tight here. Okay. And here's the thing, we have cinematographer. So far, I don't see examples of that are working. So I see graphic design, and that's great. If you want to just say graphic design, graphic designer, that's perfect too. Until you have some, you know, cinematography examples. So yeah, that's kind of what we need here, just for your about to support what you're doing, or vice versa. Okay. And it doesn't have to be many. It can be 2 videos, but here you're talking about documentaries and things, so we need a couple of examples. Not hard to embed those in your Wix. You can. It's basically just using the YouTube URL, and it will pop it right in there, right? Okay, other than that, everything for your site is working really well, and no issues there at all. All right, great job. Okay, Andrew, I think we want to, I mean, I love this color. I love what's going on here. We might want to get in a little sooner, but not much. Not, you know, I'm not even, I mean, the fact is we can see it, so maybe it's not an issue, but just something to think about. Make sure I'm looking at it in full view. I am. Okay. Just a little space there. I mean, let's see. Getting into details really now. You know, maybe that moves over here so this can come up in a line and maybe take care of that space. But really, everything's great. Let's take out privacy policy, everything but the accessibility, because you will be working on that later. If I click on this, it's going to give me this page, which is great, but you would have to update it in week 4 if you keep it. You're not required to keep it, but it is something that you'll learn about in week 4, and it's a good thing to have. Because in many places you will be required. Okay, great. Little bit of space. We have your name here, always perfect. Okay, close up all that space. And this is a little deep for a footer. You may not need that much. And let's see about your contact. Okay, great. Yeah, I think probably in the future you'll do something, of a color, this color, something, pick it up somewhere, maybe this background shape there. I would make sure that is probably this color, if you can control that. And otherwise, let's take a look at the mobile. Okay. Interesting that you put this over here. I'm wondering if you're left-handed. And you'll want to think about your site visitors. Are they left-handed? Let's, close that space up. We do want, okay, great. We do want a little bit about it. I mean, you have this, and I guess you really don't need to tell them what kind of creature that is. But in the future, you might, list a little bit about these individual shots, but, you're covering that, and I'm okay with it in this case because it's all the same kind of genre. Okay, you're going to clean that up, and might as well raise, I don't know, put that on a line. We try not to have so many lines stacking where you don't need it. It's really kind of deep. And if you can bring that up on this line by extending that text box, that might be good. Okay. Maybe you bold that, or you bold your name. And be mindful, really thin stroke there. So if that can be bolded, maybe that'd be good. You can try it and see how you feel about it. But otherwise, you're doing great. Definitely full credit. You might want to left align this, especially for your mobile. It's easier for people to read when they go from left, when they read left to right, as most of us, their eye goes to the same place, so it's not a jagged return, and it gives a nice edge. And hopefully you try to remove a single word here on a line, but otherwise, really great. And I think you're doing a fantastic job. Okay, let's see, where else are we? Okay, Charles, make sure you're working at 100%, making sure that these things aren't running off your full screen here. You could put a line here and put it up here. This is great. It's pretty clear actually given the size, but might be a little clearer. Okay, and really interesting, you will want to go through Photoshop and clean up these edges, right? The pixel where you're layering this. You'll have to go through all of them. I know what's involved. I did that earlier in my career a lot. And okay, a little more padding here, so in your margin or your gutter, I would bring that over just a little before you start that. And good, you've got a little more space here than here, so you want to watch your vertical alignment there. Consistency here, and make sure that these all align, but have a little more. Let's put your background. I know it's got this image, but let's still make it solid, because that way you won't be losing your navigation, and it won't be, overlapping content, which can get really confusing, right? So make that an opaque background, solid. You're linked. Try for LinkedIn also, so people can find you and find a little bit about you. Gives you another area. So this goes to your portfolio. This goes to your contact. Yeah. And to your about. So yeah, that's what I would do. Making sure you use, and you are, the same style font for your paragraph text. Okay, so let's check the mobile. Okay. Okay, let's bring this up into your navigation, your header. Okay. And I think what you'll want to do, I personally would use a contact form that has straight corners, or rather than rounded, because you've got those up here with your logo. And this probably could be shortened, whether it's filmmaker, I don't know, make this a little larger, or all caps, so with your name, so that we've got some hierarchy there. But then fishing and let's see, filmmaker and fishing enthusiast. I mean, it makes sense in a way, as long as most of your filmmaking is about that. Frankly, what I would do is I would ask chat to shorten this for you. Say, tell me different ways to word this, but make it shorter, because you've got, 3 words, and I don't know if you're a fishing filmmaker, that would be reduced, but if you want more options, then I would that's one way you can use chat without feeling like you're cheating, and you want to check what the AI gives you always, because they do not get things right all the time, that is for sure. And sometimes when it's wrong, it's really wrong. So do double check all that. Okay. But otherwise, it seems to be working. No, we've got to link up. Your portfolio needs to link down here. And your contact in your navigation needs to link down to here. Okay, and eventually you'll use a Gmail, so it's not your Full Sail account. Oh, wait. Okay, as long as this is a public place, you can have your address, but okay. All right, so great job, fun, unique, and that's important. You'll be able to stand out in that way. All right. Antonio, nice logo. Consider a straight corner here. Your font has straight edges, so I would think about that. This looks really great. I don't usually like anything that covers faces, but I think we get the idea, and it's dropped back, and it's working okay. Make sure that isn't legible, and it isn't, that label. Okay. Nice. Usually don't want things to cut off heads, but at shoulders is okay when that's the issue here. This and this is the focus. That's all good. This is too much. We want to reduce that greatly. There's too much space. And let's see. And you want to make sure you link up to your social icons. remove any that are not. Okay, I love this photo. I love the grays and the color that you have, and just, kind of recedes, but yet we have the rich color of the face, and this sort of blends back, and just great photo. You get the catch light in the eye, just really good. However, do go in and take out that dot, okay, in Photoshop. Okay, carefully, you want to choose a nearby color and do that, which is going to be a little tough because it's a gradient. You got to be really careful, but you've got those spots to get out. And I will tell everyone, I have you use ChatGPT for your about so that you can, feel good about what it's saying. It's going to make sure that your spelling is correct. It's going to help you word, what it is you do if you give it enough information about you. Otherwise, it's very generic and you wouldn't want to use it because it's not going to help you stand out in any way. That said, Chat does like M dashes here, and it's an earmark of Chat. So if you don't want it to appear like you're using Chat a lot, you can ask it to leave M dashes out. It will continue to put them back in because they're not incorrect. They're actually correct, and I like them. But when we have, a couple in every paragraph, we might want to adjust that. Sometimes I replace them with a comma here and there if ever I do use Chat to clean up anything or to give me ideas. But you do have to go through all that. All right, just so you know, some people won't notice it, okay? But it is something Chat does. Okay. Let's go to your contact, which is in the right place. Nice, clean, love it. Yeah, this just needs to be a little less deep. Only because on some pages it looks empty. Okay, and we just don't need it. Okay, but let's see, dining scene. Okay, but otherwise it's looking great, Antonio. Let's check this and make sure everything is yours. I saw some things up. Okay, not quite so deep. I'm going to let go of that. Okay, now so you start here on your about, and here's your about, but your home page, let's see, maybe I'm wrong. Okay, so you're starting with your about. All right. Really great job. Super job. Okay. All right, Stanley. Let's bring this up to this line. You may have to change it on your mobile, but for your desktop, I think it's going to be better. This is very blank, but let's just see how things unfold. Okay. Yeah. That background, I would probably make it a solid instead of that whole image that may be your background. Let's have higher contrast with your social media icons and link them up, at least a LinkedIn. Good job with your footer and your story, right amount of content. Little large here, you might want to bring it in. It's really very close to your header. It'll be less so when you get this up here, but I think you do want a little bit of room up there. Okay, you need higher contrast on your heading of my projects. And let's make sure you're using the same font throughout and the same size. Okay, this looks just slightly smaller. And have the same amount of vertical spacing between everything. Okay. All right, let's see your contact. Let's remove this. It's a placeholder image. Okay. Probably can reduce some of this so we don't have so much of that. And let's check the mobile. Okay, so we've got some overlapping. We want to, that text box needs to be extended, and then you can work with it and see about your line breaks and things like that. The colors are working. Colors are working well except for contrast. And also you do want to make your background solid, opaque on your header so that we don't have this overlapping everything, right? Okay, so let's try your home. The colors are working. Yeah, you're going to work on that. And there's nothing on the home. It's not scrolling or doing anything. So you may not even need the home. You may, once you get some space here and get that worked out, you might want to, let's see, put your portfolio, maybe change this to the word portfolio, since that will match your navigation. This will be up here. Close this space up here, at least on your mobile. And maybe you want to go in to your pages and menu, select your portfolio page, and there will be the 3 dots, and you can make it your home page. It will give you the option to make this your home page. And then you could remove this if there's nothing there. All right. Okay, so let's take a look at your home page currently. Yeah, there's really nothing there of yours that I can tell. So maybe I would drag this over here, make your portfolio first in your situation, and remove this page, and then rename this to be the home, and it will make it your home page. All right, so really happy with what this group is doing. You'll want to implement the feedback. You'll also get feedback from your peer. Make sure that you're looking at the checklist, because if they give you feedback that isn't really on the checklist, then it's more of an opinion, which you definitely should take into consideration. But you especially want to make sure that you have everything functioning correctly and things like that. All right, everybody, I'm looking forward to seeing these next week. All right, great job.